Listen, man, I want to make this as clear as I possibly can. Because if you knew it was coming for your children, you wouldn't be silent. You wouldn't just scroll past it. You wouldn't laugh it off. You'd stand the hell up and you'd fight with everything you got. That's what you would do. Because what's happening right now isn't politics. It's a setup. It's a ploy to undermine you and your lineage and to create a society of subservient peasants who abide by global governance. It's not natural. It's not the way it's supposed to be. You think what they're doing with food stamps and the government shutdown is just a coincidence? And if you do, it's time to snap the fuck out of it. They're going to force people who are dependent on welfare to get a biometric chip to feed their families. And if that doesn't work, which it will, they already have a backup plan to use the talking heads and their rhetoric to get people to rush to the grocery stores and attack people on the streets at ATMs and to do anything necessary to get food. This isn't just another bump in the road. 2020 was a test run to see who would comply. This is where they start rolling out the real plan. You had a chance to prepare. From this point forward, it's all going downhill. We all tried to warn you, but most people wouldn't listen. They're engineering a world where your kids will own nothing. They'll be dependent on the system for everything. And they're being taught that submission is a virtue. They call that Agenda 2030. Sounds noble, right? They say it's all about sustainable development, global equity. The fuck that means. But behind those words is one mission. Control. Control your energy. Control your food. Control your speech. Control your money. Control everything. And they'll do it all based on your carbon footprint to save the planet. You all fell for it. They've already rolled it out in the UK. They're on a mission to bring meat consumption to zero by 2030. This is for real. And it's already all over the labels on their food. It's like, what percentage of your daily carbon allowance a sandwich equates to? I'm not making this shit up. They are. Carbon dioxide is what keeps this planet alive. We exhale carbon dioxide, trees inhale carbon dioxide, and they release oxygen. And that's how the world has worked for millennia. And they taught this stuff in school, at least when I was in school, until one day they didn't. And it's all because the scumbags up at the top realized that they could manipulate us into guilt and horror about a fictitious plot where the planet dies if we survive. It's all bullshit, and it's all about control. At one point, you're going to have to realize that. And they're not even trying to hide the fact that they want to depopulate the planet anymore, because they don't have to. There are enough useful idiots now that they can rely on to perpetuate the lie. These same people telling you to eat bugs, to stop eating beef, to boycott cattle operations, to stop driving gasoline-powered vehicles, they're the ones who are flying private jets to climate conferences. They don't give a shit about the planet. They care about power and control over the masses. That's it. They think you're stupid, and most people have given them good reason for that. And if you think they'll stop at your wallet, you haven't been paying attention. They're coming for your land. They're coming for your business. They're coming for your children's ability to think for themselves. They've already infiltrated the schools, your media, your medicine, your meat. Every inch is about dependence. But here's the thing. A weak man complies. Strong men, they resist. And if you think this is just about politics, you're wrong. It's not. They're all bad. It's about submission. If men stood up again, if fathers started protecting instead of complying, the whole thing would crumble overnight. But that's why they've been trying to break you. That's why they want you sedated. They want you distracted. They want you docile and dependent, because they know that if you wake up and you link arms with other strong men, it's game over for them. And it's like I always say, a society of strong men would never have allowed this level of corruption to take root. And if you're ready to start rebuilding what they tried to destroy, join us. The link to our Brotherhood is up top in my bio. We fight for our families. We fight for our freedom. We fight for the future so that they can never steal it from our lineage.